by sticking to the climate science terms, climate engineering, geoengineering, solar radiation management. In regard to the proof we have, in addition to having government documents, Senate documents...
Okay, so here, they have this guy here. Okay, they put this right in front of him. Conspiracy, you know? And so he just said, well, it's like, we don't talk about conspiracies. We talk about the facts. And the guy who rebuttals him said, the first thing he says, oh, we don't believe in conspiracy theories. Dane is not talking about conspiracy theories. He's talking about facts. Okay, let's listen.
Presidential documents. We have U.S. Air Force former generals, 2 former generals communicating with us. We have NASA satellite imagery like that, which you're showing right now, that clearly no one needs to...
And this guy, he rebuttals him, says, oh, this is natural stuff. This is a natural consequence of jet condensation. And that doesn't look too natural to me. How about you?
Well, anything about meteorology, to see that there's very unnatural patterns in those cloud formations, in fact, patterns that nature...
Check that out. How natural looking is that? How could a jet produce that naturally? I mean, you wouldn't think they'd be flying right next to each other. That's San Francisco.
Cannot make. In addition to our testing of precipitation from around the globe, which has yielded without exception the climate engineering components in the precipitation, aluminum, barium, strontium, polymer fibers. We have just at great expense and great effort completed atmospheric testing using a flying laboratory that NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also uses, and we have just confirmed the same climate engineering elements that were emitted from aircraft in a layer that we flew through. We have just confirmed this first.
And this guy's done all these tests. He's got all the lab reports and everything. And then people just gloss over and start talking about conspiracy theories. It's so crazy, I'll tell you. The mainstream media is pulled by the puppet strings who want... Well, you know, it could be they're just... they don't want the people to panic. Basically, the ecosystem's falling apart and they blame it on a virus. So how crazy is that, guys?
Type of test ever. This is a court-admissible type of evidence. I could go on, but the bottom line, in addition to all this, we have film footage of these aircraft at altitude, turning on and off. You can't turn condensation.
I've seen them turn on and off myself here locally. They circle around the city. And yeah, it's like, why would any jet be circling over the city? I don't understand it. Why wouldn't they be going to point to point?
Just sort of pulling back from that really sort of specific detail. Why a good test of any sort of theory is...
And this guy throws a spin in it.
Benefits. Why would the government be using airplanes to poison its own population or change the climate?
Putting a spin on it,
very convoluted...
Poison. Why are they poisoning them?
For one thing, of doing anything, and why would they want to do it anyway and then cover it up?
First, in regard to your stated objective of poisoning the population, you said that, I didn't.
Okay.
That's not what we have stated at geoengineeringwatch.org. In regard to engineering the climate, I'll answer in their words. Militaries around the globe, starting with the U.S. military, state emphatically and on the record that the greatest national security threat of all is the climate collapse.
Greatest national security threat. Climate collapse.
The stated scientific purpose, and by the way, we have every science institution.
So they're at war with basically Mother Nature.
Discussing exactly what we see in our skies is something that
check out that website. You'll find out.
Light scattering particles into the sky to block some of the sun's incoming thermal energy. So this is the stated purpose of solar radiation management, stratospheric aerosol injection, cloud albedo enhancement, to spray light-blocking particles into the sky. And in fact, that's what got me into this issue.
And so here we go. We got the
world's largest engineering firm.
I mean, he's got credentials, no doubt. His home was on the cover of whatever, the Solar Energy magazine, the biggest. Anyway, yeah. So the rebuttal. You'll hear it in a minute. You'll hear this guy. He's going to rebuttal. He'll say, "Oh, this is just a bunch of conspiracy," and then he'll say, "Oh, this is all natural," and then he'll basically sidestep the whole subject here that Dane's talking about.
World's largest renewable energy magazine, and I was losing extraordinary amounts of my solar power uptake from whatever these aircraft were emitting, and clearly condensation cannot block that much of the sun. So we knew there was a problem. We began testing, and we were astounded at the amount of data that was available that official sources were not discussing. And by the way, they're not discussing it because in one case we have a federal gag order, an illegal federal gag order.
And I've had the rainwater tested. I thought they would be honest with me. I told them I thought there may be geoengineering weather modifications in the rainwater. And of course, there was zero. I had a local lab company test my water. Nope. Nothing to worry about.
U.S. gagging all the nation's weathermen. I think we should ask ourselves why that's going on.
All right. Well, Ken McLeod from Australian Skeptics, I'll bring you in here.
He's the
You're
skeptic,
retired air
okay,
traffic
right?
controller.
And
What
this
do you
guy
make
here.
of these theories?
Well, like in any conspiracy theory, a good one,
Like in any conspiracy theory, he's like talking to somebody else. He's not addressing what Dane just said. He's calling it a conspiracy theory. Dane never talked about a conspiracy theory. He was basically he's talking about facts. And this guy here, you can see he's actually hiding behind his glasses. Damn, can't you see that? His nose is pointed down. Not very confident in what he's saying.
there is just a germ of truth.
A germ of truth.
Climate change, global warming, is a real threat to our civilization.
Okay, now he's changing subject. Yes, it's a real threat. Yep, that we're going to have to agree on.
Scientists have been discussing climate modification.
Okay, yeah, he admits. Oh, yes, they've been discussing it. Of course, they've been discussing it. One local here I met said that they've been doing it. He's been observing the sprays and the resultant weather modification for probably a good 10 or 15 years. And yet, most people don't even know about it. They don't bother to look up and analyze. They're too busy trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Aerosols and so on in the upper atmosphere. But unfortunately, conspiracy theories have latched on.
Okay, so now he says, oh, the scientists have talked about that. But the conspiracy theorists have latched onto it. Let's see what he's going to say here.
This and gone further.
And gone further. Okay, so they've basically exposed the truth. And then look, he's starting to look up now. And he's going, yeah, Dane's fucking right, man.
There's no evidence that anyone is actually spraying chemicals in the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
he says there's no evidence. And then yet Dane has talked about the rainwater pollution from the weather modifications in the patents to modify the weather. And so, yeah. And, there he goes, hiding behind his glasses again.
To alter the world's climate. Now, those video clips we saw were a phenomenon called aerodynamic condensation. Now,
and these video clips, okay, so video clips, and what about the stationary photos of the harp rings and the herringbone zebra clouds? What about those, boss?
Low levels and high humidity, where there is a drop of atmospheric pressure, like over the wings or from wingtip vortices, there is a drop in temperature, and that will cause condensation. And it's very commonly seen around airports on rainy days. The chemistry...
Yeah, well, it's not a rainy day, and I see them turn off and on. I see them flying right next to each other. Why does that happen? Not on flighttracker.com. They don't show up. They don't show up on any passenger jet flight patterns. They circle around and come back and spray over again. How natural is that?
Trails that people are talking about are the condensation trails from engine exhaust.
Oh, he says, well, these... Then he uses that word that Dane doesn't use, right? And he's saying, yeah, it's this, and that doesn't exist.
Now, this is where we have to go back to basic high school science. If you...
Yeah, okay, high school science. You fucking failed that shit, right?
burn a hydrocarbon, the products are carbon dioxide and water. And there's the little...
Okay, do the math, guys. Stick your head into that one.
Jet fuel, which is actually kerosene.
Don't believe your own eyes. Don't feel your own heart.
A ton of jet fuel will produce roughly 1 ton.
Do the fucking math, okay?
I've done some checking, and
oh,
over the United States and
he's done some checking.
About 230,000 tons of water are produced in...
230,000 tons of water are produced by jets.
That's where you get this huge mosaic of...
well, I gotta tell you, where I live, it's never been much of a air traffic area at all. And so, when I first moved here, like 30 years ago, I actually never saw any of these jets spraying, and you'd think that the modern technology would reduce any air pollution, and yet, no, it seems to have increased.
What appear to be contrails. They're actually technically defined by the World Meteorological Organization.
Oh, okay. So what does that? He say? Oh, the World Meteorological Association. Okay, so trust them, right? Don't trust your own eyes or your own heart, your own lungs. Yeah, and by the way, these are what they spray our desiccants, and anyone who's been breathing this is going to be having lung problems sooner or later. Not to mention nanoparticulates of aluminum, barium, strontium, and who knows what. They may even be spraying the coronavirus to sell you a vaccine, right?
Cirrus clouds. And the persistence can vary from...
Oh, this guy's like, look at this guy. He's like lost in his head. He's like pulling up the 2 times 2 equals 4 routine. That's why I never went for math in school. Sorry, guys.
To 20, 30 minutes. And that depends on the temperature and the humidity of that environment.
That's just what his teacher told him. I'm sorry, guy. I don't mean to, you know, like diss you or anything, but it's just my perspective. And it's like, I'm sorry if you feel bad about my criticism, and I hope you'll take it constructively.
Now, in the United States, where you have a mosaic of aircraft routes, you will get that crisscross pattern.
Okay, he says the crisscross patterns are normal, the mosaic, and it's like I said, I just said, we don't have much air traffic up here. There's only like one major airport up here, and it usually just flies like north to south, that's all. It doesn't normally circle around the city. Okay, so that one just shut off. All the way over here, just shut off. Just turn it back on right now. Off and on. It basically just shut off. You can see where it shut off. Left all this here, right? With that shadow. And then over here, there's nothing, right? See that? Shut the sprays off.